Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Fortin. I'm your student's Algebra 1 teacher this year. You've received a few emails from me over the summer, and I've gotten your students up and going. I hope things are going pretty well. A little bit of information about myself up here. It's my fourth year at Lowell and fourth year teaching Algebra 1. I'm really excited to be doing this. I'm a career change, and I'm excited to be working with students in teaching math, but I'm not just interested in teaching in math. I'm interested in sort of thinking beyond the subject, which is sort of where I start down here. So where I think the really great thing you get in ninth grade, maybe even in comparison to eighth grade, is sort of they've been looking at a lot of this math stuff, been looking at solving equations and linear functions a little bit in middle school. So this year we have an opportunity to kind of think beyond the subject. Now, what you're looking at in front of us is actually a graph that we did today in class. We fully described this graph. We're talking about a whole bunch of the different attributes you could potentially talk about on any math graph, and we're fitting this to an obviously an important real world situation in terms of social distancing and where we see that in the world. So as I explained to students today, the way that I kind of see as a math teacher and also just kind of as a citizen, the difference between really learning math and really learning algebra and analyzing functions like we do in algebra, the thing that you really get good at Algebra 1 and the difference between people is really how you read graphs and read data and be able to tell the story of that data here. So obviously, to be an informed citizen and vote for the right people and get the right data from you, you need to know how to be able to read something like this. And I think that's a huge thing that they pick up in this class. And it's really, really valuable. So I figured I'd emphasize it there. All right, looking at what's covered here, we have the textbook here. Your student may have a physical copy. There's also an online copy. I have a PDF online too. Content will be covered, will be here. These are the core, most important Algebra 1 stuff down here. It's agreed to by all of the Algebra 1 teachers. We're focusing on the most important stuff because, again, we only really have 3 lessons we can do a week. We're not doing 4 to 5 like we've done before. So that might catch you off guard, being like, are we covering enough stuff? Is my student learning enough this year? And I would say absolutely yes, because even though we do cover a number of sort of these, what I like to call Algebra 1.5 topics in a common year, no teacher really covers all of everything they could cover in Algebra 1 anyways. So we're covering the things that Algebra 1 teachers always cover and have covered for several years. And sort of the kinds of things, the way we decided on this was the kinds of things that do get taught in future classes, like all these 11 things right here, we're probably not going to get to, right? We're probably not going to be able to spend time on it here. So if your student is looking for a little bit more, if maybe they're working with a tutor, I don't know, if you're looking for some other things to potentially talk about with them, this is a good list here because a lot of this I normally talk about in a normal year, but it's definitely not a normal year this year. We'll focus on the main stuff and sort of hopefully inspire your student to really go deep into these subjects that we have up top here. Basic schedule of a week, okay? So I see them Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's where our synchronous class is, and maybe they have to finish up our homework. Usually the way that our Monday, Wednesday, Friday class works is that's when I launch a lesson. So they start the lesson and they work with their study groups. They work with them a lot of the class, and then at the end, we pause, we share out answers, we talk about them, we kind of highlight some things. It's pretty relaxed, I like to think. And then oftentimes, because we normally have a 50-minute period in class, but not usually. Oftentimes they do have to finish that classwork for homework. So we get the 25 to 35 minutes of synchronous time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, is enough generally to do at least like half of a lesson. And then they finish up that lesson for homework, and they do it on a tool called Desmos. So we start the class in Desmos, they go to it, they do over half of it, they finish it for homework, and then that night and that next morning, I can go in there and give them feedback directly in Google Classroom so that hopefully it feels like they understood the lesson and they're getting feedback and they can continue, okay? What I would normally give for homework, right, on a day's lesson, so that sort of day's lesson, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what I would normally give for homework, I give on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is 5 to 7 questions from the book. Some of them are a little bit more in depth than others, but what I like to say is spend no more than 5 minutes on any question. Or spend up to 5 minutes. If you feel like you're not spending a lot of time not getting anything out of it, you're probably not thinking hard enough. So about 5 minutes per question, that sort of maxes out on the amount of work they have on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 35 minutes. Got a whole bunch of stuff about promoting mental and emotional health. I got this graph here again. Again, I just want to remind you, your student, that math is beautiful. It can tell us a lot more about what's going on in the world and just make a little bit more progress each day. I think that could be a good talking point for you to help your student out here. Whole bunch of information that you might have to read on your own time. I will email this out to you, this file we're looking at here, but I got 10 seconds left, so I need to wrap up because I don't want to take any more than 5 minutes of your time if you don't need it. Ways to help your students are listed down here, so encourage them to email me if they have any questions. I answer them 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night, and more information is down here. With that, that's my 5 minutes. Nice to meet you over video. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Bye.